Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video all about the League of Dracula 2024. We've got a game for you from the semi-final between Pizzawizard and Mistergreen. Post-game analysis style. I haven't done any of these videos during this tournament just because most of the games have been recorded anyway. But I thought for the semi-final, as there was a neutral perspective, we could get some post-game analysis on the go, and Roscoe has joined me for this one.
Oh, good afternoon. Have we got a game for you? Yes, we have got a game for you. That's why we're post commentating. Yes. So, yep, I haven't seen any of this. This is new to me, and I don't know the result either. So, this is very exciting for me.
Absolutely. I do know the result just because it got spoiled, but I don't know what happened really during the game, so I'm sure there'll be loads of stuff anyway that we can sort of dissect and discuss. So we've had some technical issues, so we'll skip through the intro that we already done and we'll just get straight into it, I suppose. So we won't be pausing this and going into like huge amounts of detail just because we're having to watch this separately. I'm not streaming this to Roscoe, so if we're trying to pause the video and stuff, that's going to be fun. So I'm going through full screen now, Roscoe. So you want to hit play in 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Underway. Hey.
Happy day.
Cool. So anyone doesn't know, just joining this a day late, but that's fine. Pizzawizard is on Hunters. So we've got Pizzawizard, #1 seed and reigning champion, on the Hunters in the first match of the semi-final, and Mistergreen, everyone's favourite Swede and Cunity OG, #4 seed on Dracula. Remember that this is not the only game of this semi-final. Regardless of this result, there will be a second game guaranteed where the roles reverse. Plug, it's going to be on my channel tomorrow. That's Sunday. I'll tell you the times later because I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's 5 p.m. UTC, I think. So I'll be doing a live stream, so please do join in live for that. Anyhow, so we were having some technical issues, and you, Ross, were about to go into an amazing monologue about these two players in particular. If you can remember.
Yes, I was very much so. That was 5 minutes ago, and that's completely left my mind now. But let's. No, it was yeah, quite interesting from what I've seen with these guys. They're both calm players and collected players. They don't tend to get frantic when the days get close to the end. They're very analytical. They pick and choose the right cards. So watching them play against each other will be quite interesting to see if either of them manages to make the other one play frenetically,
Right.
or if they do just carry on playing as they do, and we see if it's a cat and mouse game or if it's a mind and battle of the wits. They're both competent in combat as well, so really two all-round good players on both factions, I would say. So this would be it should be an exciting game.
Yep, I'd agree with everything you said there. Yeah, very balanced players. I mean, maybe they would both say they're slightly favored on Hunters, but in general, yeah, I mean, they wouldn't be, two of the best players in the community if they weren't very balanced across the two roles. They're both very experienced. I mean, Mr. Green's obviously got vast amounts of experience. Pizzawizard came to community later, but has really done well, especially over the last sort of 18 months or so. It's just been winning tournaments left and right. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. I feel though they've got their styles, but I feel there's going to be you need to try and disrupt your opponent a little bit, especially when you think about the Hunters, right? Pizzawizard, we know Pizzawizard, is just able just to supply his way out of any problem. So you got to try and Mistergreen maybe has to try and take the game to him a little bit and try and do something a bit disruptive to try and throw Pizzawizard off. Otherwise, if you just let Pizzawizard do his thing, it's going to be a rough. Even if things go well in the say first 2.5 weeks for Dracula, the last sort of week or so could turn really nasty. So yeah,
I think that's what you've got to try and, as you said, with Pizzawizard and yourself, and really any Hunter players who are, happy to not move and or do anything but supply, get the right cards, right up until the kind of the end of a game, because that's when they get their cards. You need to be getting things where ideally Drac needs a hoax to mature, so he's got a card. If Drac's got an event card or a couple, or you get to a point where you make the Hunters supply in the final week, and you can maybe pick up a couple of cards from that, then that's an added bonus. I mean, Dracula without any events, playing against players like Pizzawizard, where they're just you just know what they're doing. You know, if you're looking at the deck and there's 10 cards left for the events, you may as well just write off and say, right, well, they pretty much got everything they need, unless they're very unlucky. But yeah, you're right. It's throwing things down like spies, throwing things down like, you know, even chipping away at the health, disrupting the client, the players where they are, trying to take one out. That's your kind of, yeah. I think you're right. You can't afford to be. You can try and get the 7 points if you've got a rumor and a vamp, but that again, that's just allowing these guys to just pick up the cards that they need and run through it. You know, so it's a difficult position. I do think that both Pizzawizard and Mistergreen, what I like about them both as well, certainly with Mistergreen, and we've played God knows how many games together, that he can change up his strategy very quick. He's quite versatile in reading the game, and if he sees that it's going one way, he can switch it and become, if he's Dracula, he can become, okay, I need to play aggro Drac now, or if it's becoming a certain way, he can become elusive Dracula. Like with the hunters, he can decide, okay, he won't worry about discarding a horse if it means getting the right item to then get to them. So yeah, again, they're both very versatile, which again you need to be. That if you've got your way you play, and you're up against somebody who can manipulate that, then you're hiding to nothing. So that's the other interesting thing. They're going to be battle of the wits to see who's going to come out on this.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see anything crazy like, you know, suddenly 4 locations with triple encounters with 3 rumor tokens from Mistergreen. He's not known for that sort of thing. But yeah, he's definitely, if he needs to take a risk and play a riskier move and play slightly sneaky and a little bit tricksy, then he will do so. Sometimes when, you know, you'll know after playing Mistergreen so many times, and I have as well, that sometimes he can get really caught out by that. But then maybe in the heat of a tournament game, you play a move that your opponent wouldn't expect, and then you might actually be able to get away with it at this level. So, not that Pizzawizard gets tricked easily, but just because it's a semi-final and so much is on the line. It's not the same as a league where you think, oh, I could lose this one game and I'm still gonna be fine. You lose 2 games in a row and you're out. Simple as that.
Interestingly as well, sometimes Mistergreen can be his own worst enemy, and he forgets how the game works, or he forgets what he's done. So despite all the accolades he's just been given, he can self-destruct himself at any time, and you just watch him go, why has he done that? And then he forgets that's how the card works. Oh, right, okay. So he does have lapses. So we'll see if any of that occurs in this game.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
So we've seen that Evil Presidents revealed nothing. Local rumours on Van Helsing revealed nothing, which you expect. So
there's a newspaper on Mina. So and she's got a horse. So at least Pizzawizard, that's something that is always really nice. It's good also for Dracula to know it as well, that the newspaper is there, and you can start planning around that. Okay, right, Mina's got the newspaper, so it's going to be revealed on Saturday, day phase, right? And you can start planning your trail even more based upon that information. It's also good for Pizzawizard that he knows, okay, I've got the newspaper, I'm not going to be scrambling, not knowing where Dracula is for 2 weeks. Something's definitely going to be revealed, I can act towards it. Pizzawizard with his Pizzawizard setup, obviously, which he stole from Mistergreen.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it was Mistergreen who started. I remember back in the day, he was the one who used to start with Seward in Bordeaux, but he never did it consistently. He would just mix it up a little bit. And then Pizzawizard has made it his thing. I think it's actually been really interesting how throughout the whole tournament we've seen a lot of different hunter setups. Superhero, and then we've had 2 hunters in Marseille, Seward in Bucharest, all this sort of stuff. But I've kept the same setup throughout the whole tournament, and Pizzawizard has also done his own setup throughout the whole tournament. No chopping and changing, nothing based upon opponent. He just sticks with his setup. He knows what he's doing with it. He knows the weaknesses of it. He's not going to create more chaos for the sake of creating more chaos, which I think is interesting.
No, you're right, and I think you're the time you would try different hunter setups is in friendlies or league games. I wouldn't be trying it in a tournament knockout stage or whatever, because it doesn't really throw Dracula in as much as, oh right, you started there, because whenever the hunters start, they're going to be leaving an area open for Dracula anyway. You know, you can't, the way it's designed and the way the map is, you can't cover every region with the hunters, so there's no issue about, oh hang on, where am I going to go next? So it's more the hunters that are, up against it by saying, let's start at Marseille. Okay, great. I've got 2 in there now, which means that I'm free to, if Suid starts in 10, which I've seen before, then Dracula can start Austro-Hungary because you don't have the psychic bond risk with Godalming and Mina. So there's always alternative routes. But yeah, I'd be looking at, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But I do like to see, on the other hand, that hunters, the players aren't just going by, that's a startup, let's just do it, that's it. It's like, yeah, let's try different things, throw things out there. I got said a while back, I think I was watching a game you and Gyro were commentating on, and I mentioned about the Van Helsing in the UK, because I was talking about doing a kind of Paris start with Van Helsing and somebody there. And I think it was more about, it was kind of quashed in as much as, well, you don't want to be leaving the UK wide open, but then here, for example, you've got Spain wide open, you've got Baltica, but I get it with the UK is different because you've got to try and get there with the oceans and what have you. So, but again, it's interesting to see there's different movements. There's no, that's a good thing about it. There's no restricted on this is where the hunters start. You start where you want to, and it can, it throws things around. So there's a paper. Oh, Madrid.
Oh,
right. Okay.
But that was Godalming who revealed it. So Mina's newspaper hasn't been used, and also Jonathan Harker's ally. So
yeah.
Pizzawizard's gonna know where Mistergreen is for quite a long time.
And you can pretty much work out from there where he is now, almost. If he started in Madrid, you could say, if Suid had the top tier card, throw down a little wax cylinders, just check for the hide. If there's no hide on there, then you know that, okay, he's going to be coming out of Spain or going to the sea pretty quickly. So you can almost cover that. That's the only thing with the Iberia, we should call it the name. It's the only way out. That bottleneck through Toulouse and Clermont-Ferrand, you're either going to the sea, which I don't like going to the South Atlantic because you it's like a wasted ocean. You're further one away, obviously, from going south. And if you go north, you've only then got North Atlantic, where you only land in France or Ireland, which again doesn't really, confuse the hunters any. So yeah, if he manages to get something down, or if there's a delay in a rumor token or something, or a hoax, then happy days. But yeah, he's utilised the Madrid, and obviously they haven't had a hired scouts. Where I wonder if Pizzawizard would have checked probably Granada and Madrid or something with the hired scouts just to rule it out.
I think so. It's very possible that he would have done, but they said he never drew it. But then that's also then good for Pizzawizard because he knows those hired scouts are in the deck for later if he so needs. I was also just before we get into the game, just thinking about hunter setups. Now also the fact that Dracula can see his encounter cards before placing the first location is quite telling, because then a lot of the time Dracula might be basing his strategy not upon where the hunters are, but what cards he has and what sort of traps and things and trail. So like the game I played against Fangs of Fire, where Fangs used superhero setup against me. I didn't expect him to use superhero setup. I thought he was going to do something else, like his Marseille double hunter thing. But in the end, there's wax cylinders. Look at that.
There we go.
But because I had a certain encounters in my hand, it said, right, sorry, I'm going southern Italy, and I don't care about your hunter setup. I'm doing this based upon the encounters, not based upon your locations. So,
yeah, that's a good point. And I'm glad that was changing the game, because it was never fair that Dracula doesn't know what cards he's got until it starts. That's crazy. So now he has got his opening hand available. That then obviously does benefit him in the strategy that he wants to. And as you say, it's a good point. Yeah, it kind of matches up where it doesn't really matter where the hunters start. If you've got your, as you did, a great setup there with the fog, and then everything's just tied in nicely, then it's happy days. So yeah, that's a good point with that Drac getting to see his hand first.
We had an interesting thing. Sud had dogs, so that spy didn't trigger. So it's very interesting that Mistergreen opted to ambush. At least the dogs were discarded, but the ambush with the spy didn't actually slow down Sud too much. But it meant it's freed up Sud's night action to use the wax cylinders. Whereas otherwise, he might not be able to use the wax cylinders, or he might have had to delay himself by a day. So he's supplying anyway, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's rare. Well, certainly the games I've watched, which haven't been as many as others, but dogs seem to have gone back to being discarded. There was a time where dogs were like, everybody keeps dogs, because that was when you had your starting location followed by a hide with a delay card or something.
Right.
Your saboteur. and Quincy used to do that kind of the Hyde Saboteur and your Dracula. And then now you look at it and it's like dogs just get discarded. So it's interesting to see that Stewart did keep one, and obviously it came good for him.
Because the meta also then shifted then, right? Because when I started the community, that was very much the meta thing, to put Hyde with a Saboteur. But then, because people sometimes were keeping dogs, and also then depending on the timing of Saboteur, sometimes it didn't make a difference to the situation. But then people have now started using more powerful things like Bats and Fog as the Hyde card, and not.
Yeah.
Because I think now there's maybe less fear about people using something strong like a Bats or a Fog early, especially if it guarantees 7 points, but also the fact Dracula players are getting even better now in terms of shuffling their encounter deck. So that really top tier card, you could easily get it back. So you need a little bit of luck with the timing of that, getting that card back, but still, it is definitely possible now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right,
yeah, and again, there was always that theory. There's always the theory of holding on to Fog until end game and delay the hunter. But now we've seen it a few times where it's been used early doors because it's been there. And it's like, yeah, let's just use it. You know, sometimes to success, like as you mentioned, your game with Fangs worked out perfectly. Other times where there was a game we saw where there was both put down on Bordeaux and didn't really come to fruition as one had hoped. So again, yeah, it's kind of that whole holding on to the Fog until the last minute. And again, the way Forewarned works now as well means that hunters are going to be more. It's not. There's more risk for them, for Dracula to actually hit them with something now, rather than just, well, everyone can jump in and whoever's got Forewarned doesn't matter. I like the fact that it's actually been allocated to a specific hunter, that if you do hit it at the right time, then you actually get Fog tricking playing off, which is great.
Yeah, I agree. And also now there's been questions in this tournament, if you do throw down a bat early, right, to protect a vampire, and if the hunter walks into it with Forewarned, should they use the Forewarned? Because we've had situations where that saves 7 points, but then what happens later if Dracula then starts throwing down fogs that have been saved and everything? Is Dracula in Bordeaux? Has he just waited for Seward to vacate it and then has instantly left? I'm really surprised that Godalming's staying put. Sorry, I'm moving the mouse as if I'm in the game.
I know. I keep moving it. I keep pausing the screen. I'm like, oh, I'm probably 3 seconds behind it because I keep pausing the actual clip. So like, why is it not working? Oh yeah, I don't have the screen. And then I see your cursor moving. I'm like, oh no. So this is confusing enough for me. But yeah, I was wondering that. So yeah, whether he did the Granada, there's still no Hyde. So has he done the Cadiz, Lisbon, Santander, and then no wolf form? So if he has played it, he's played it risky. That he's only gone to Bordeaux with those hunters around him.
He must have done, because there's so many spaces on the trail now. It's impossible for him to have. Oh, Sud has more dogs. What the hell?
More dogs. Okay.
Maybe he did do a day supply in Madrid. Maybe he just top decked it.
I thought Van Helsing was going to go to Bordeaux on his move. I don't know, rather than going down to Santander, to Saragossa.
Yeah, I'm
Bordeaux
surprised
would have
too.
ruled out.
Yeah.
Without the wolf form, you would do that just to make sure he hasn't escaped Spain.
But I think even now, based upon the number of things which are on the trail, I think it's almost certain that he's in Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
I mean, it was Madrid, right? So he must have gone past Bordeaux by now.
Yeah.
5 spaces after Granada. We know Madrid was used before. Unless he's now, there's a layer, so because I can't click the layers box, we know, because it's illuminated, we know that Madrid is a layer.
Madrid was. But then from Cadiz, it would have been Cadiz, Lisbon, Santander, Bordeaux, and let's say Nons, and now he'll be moving to Le Havre or somewhere. So, yeah.
Or he could be in Clermont. He could be in Clermont-Ferrand now, going to Geneva. If he gets into Paris today, it's a little bit risky for hunters, because he could get to Saragossa next day. Not Saragossa. Strasbourg next day, then Wolf form. They got to be a little bit careful here. But there's no rumor token. So if they did suddenly want to go, oh, sod it. We're not going to deal with this trail. I mean, Cardiff is going to mature, I think, unless suddenly Van Helsing pulls out a horse that we're not aware of. Godalming discarded Heavenly Host, by the way, just in case that's relevant later.
Yeah, Holy Bullets have gone as well in there, so... yeah, it'd be interesting to... Oh, okay, so...
Well, they could Psychic Scan, but I think it's almost certain. Oh, unless he's in Geneva now. He does. That's fortunate.
So it's Seward, Godalming. No, who is it? So it's
Mina has it too. So Seward's the one who's without, but he was on the rail line, so it actually worked out pretty well for
Yeah.
him. That's why he moved Van Helsing over so early. He might have sat there for a few more turns supply, but because he had the horse, he decided to move him over. And maybe that's why he didn't want to go into Bordeaux, because he was worried about the delay dealing with Iberia, and also if Van Helsing died for some reason, then suddenly he'd be down a horse. Maybe Van Helsing's not equipped very well apart from the horse.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, to discard a Heavenly Host, basically, do the other ones have the other remaining ones? But then I've seen players that don't really regard Heavenly Host as, keep it in your hand. They will quite happily burn it for 2 knives, or, it's because, again, the way they can burn through is wax going to reveal anything? No. Okay.
So he has to be in Nantes now, or in Toulouse, because of the length of the trail and the fact that Clermont-Ferrand's been ruled out.
Yeah, so he needs to wolf form next one.
I just assume it's a case that Godalming has 2. He already had a Heavenly Host. So why would he hold on to 2? He'll keep the weapon or the stake that he's got. Because we haven't seen any stakes yet. Maybe some stakes have been. I think at least one stake's been discarded, but because we were chatting, I wasn't really fully paying attention because the item thing I can't click it. We'll never know.
Yeah.
Seward can't get to Lisbon, so Lisbon's going to mature, whatever that is. I'm surprised that Godalming used up his newspaper, given Mina has one as well. Because then Godalming's event is stayed hidden, unless Mina's other event is so strong that he doesn't want to reveal it. Or is a misclick. We'll assume that Pizzawizard is displaying skill, and it was that he wants to hide something on Mina. Rather than... he drew 2 newspapers in the first week, by the way. And really early.
He did.
As well.
Yeah,
because then he would have played them immediately otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pulled both of them before the 3rd day, yeah. Right,
and then Harker.
Okay,
and then Harker. So he's going to have very little issue in terms of finding the trail and everything.
Yeah, this is the problem now. You got that. It's just chipping away at the trail for Drac. That's when you've got to start changing. So let me see if he'd gone. So if he could have wolf formed, where to now? Perhaps if he was in Paris, if he got to Paris from Nantes, he could be over at 41. Could be in Nuremberg.
Yeah,
which is a nice one.
That'd be decent. But problem
I'd be checking this with Godalming. Just to rule it out.
Yeah. He's not going there though. I don't think he needs to check that. I'm the same as you. I feel... But the problem is, Nuremberg's risky because Godalming could have got there, but then Godalming could get anywhere, more or less. The only place he couldn't have got to is maybe something like Frankfurt. Yeah, Nuremberg's a nice one. Because at this stage, you may think they don't have consecrated grounds, so you could even get Prague, Vienna, and you work around that way.
Or you can jump down to Munich, and again, it still gives you that freedom. A Heavenly Host has been burnt, so again, you've got one less issue about that if they have got an early CG. But it does give you that option to then get over to the east, and it's one of those kind of hidden. Did he go Paris? He did. So yeah, it's one of those hidden ones. The Nuremberg is kind of like, oh, and I didn't know you could get there, because people look at it and go, right, it could be the 24 to 60, it could be whatever it might be. It's a nice little secret channel to get away from there, because the rest of them, the problem is they're all pretty condensed. Oh, there's a stake on Godalming.
Bats. That's good. That's very good for Dracula though. He's delaying. Van Helsing and Seward have got to stay put down here, trading. Shame he didn't put anything into the lair that he could have ambushed with. I mean, as crazy as it might sound, even a fog here wouldn't be that bad. In Cardiff, because he could have trapped both of them for an additional day. That horse is then stuck there. Then more things on this trail would mature. Santander would be maturing at this rate. So for the Dracula player, you have to hope that Lisbon and Santander are decent things.
Yeah. I mean, it could be, because no rumour's being played, if you are going to block Stewart and Van Helsing, Cadiz, then again, as you said earlier, it just allows Pizzawizard that chance to just supply anyway, because there's nothing else to do. Whereas at the moment, if he's chasing the trail, he's not supplying. So
Yep.
would you would you want to block them at this stage, unless they cleared the trail, and it was like, right, now they're going to be on your back, then okay, block them in now for a couple of days. But I don't know if I don't know if it would be beneficial. Again, there is no rumor token, so that the hunters can allow. There's a risk of a hoax, but apart from that,
and he's layering this. Oh no.
yeah,
That's not what you want to see. You want to see big things maturing and not just hide out into
especially Lisbon, because you're not going to come back to Lisbon, typically. So
oh, what? I thought you said he was converting hideout. What? Okay, I must have misread the prompt. Never mind. He got health back. Ugh, not great.
oh
It's only 1 health, but better than nothing. Shame for him
yeah,
that didn't trigger, because I would have cycled quite a lot of cards. Especially there's always a chance that the one who stepped on it might not have had the Heavenly Host.
the host to cancel it.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay, so checking there.
Can he get a Santander?
Yeah,
Yes, he can.
Yeah. So yeah, this is giving Drac a good chance to break out into the east. Again, as they are deleting the trail, he's adding to it, which is what you want.
Yeah, but the issue is it's always the way, because you've got 4 hunters at their disposal. Yeah, but he has no choice. He has to get back onto the rail line one way or the other. So it's more efficient this way. And he can potentially block all that damage anyway. Oh, he has dogs.
Dogs in Van Helsing. Jesus Christ, okay.
Oh, that must be the dogs that Seward had, and he traded it to him, because Van Helsing's just going to be supply bot for a bit, right?
Yeah, and Seward's take the fast horses, yeah.
But this is something I talk about quite a bit, where the joy of hunters are, once you get into a position like this, where they're able to get onto his trail, you're able to mop up 3 encounters, or even maybe, if you're lucky, 4 encounters in one day. And then now, that rate of progression, like Dracula is still putting down encounters, but you're clearing them faster. And then Dracula's in trouble.
It seems the horse economy is not set up fully yet, because there's been 2 or 3 turns where a 1's been drawn. Yeah. Mina did it when she went to Clermont-Ferrand. Godalming did it when he went to Marseille. She's drawn another 2-1 here. So that's always beneficial for Drac to see as well, that they're not going to get as far. She could be jumping on Nuremberg now had she rolled well. Yep. But as it stands, they still don't know where he is. Now that she's moved from Godalming, you've always got the option as well of going back into France, because she can't psychic bond. So
yeah, imagine there's some sort of thing he's done a wolf form to Frankfurt and now Cologne. He could be sneaking back into Brussels. So that's very unfortunate too, because if Sud had drawn that the yellow one and not Mina, suddenly that's 4 points for Dracula. Right away. I know Bordeaux would get wiped, but then the fact that you're clearing Nantes and Paris, which have already been cleared anyway, you'd take those 4 points. Why wouldn't you? Unless Bordeaux is also a vamp, and he wants to try to mature that and then clear the wolf form. But at this stage, Van Helsing could get there, Seward could get there. I don't think you take the risk. You just take the 4. The guaranteed 4 points, and then be on your merry way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those are good. I'd have been tempted as well to, knowing, again, what Paris had wasn't anything detrimental as such. I'd have been tempted to misdirect Paris, because he had time just to throw them off the wolf location. Because then, they could check it, but he could have also gone from, when Mina checked 15, he could have gone from 24, he could have gone from Le Havre. So all of a sudden it's like, okay, he's pretty much going to have to wolf form into the east anyway, because there's nowhere else really to go. The rest is on the trail. But I just always think that if you can misdirect the card before you wolf form, it just gives the hunters something else to think about. Oh, you there?
Yep, I'm there. I had to quickly tab onto OBS because I was paranoid that I'd had us muted. That'd be awful.
Oh my god. Good.
Can you imagine if I'd forgotten to hit record or something? That'd be, or unmuted us or something. That'd be awful. But we're all good.
I know. And then it's like, everyone's watching it. It's like you get the most watching because like this is great. We can't hear them. We'll just watch. We're just watching silent movie. The game proceed.
Why has Scott Sword uploaded a silent perspective of another silent perspective? We'll just watch it
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. For those who just can't get enough of FOD.
So Van Helsing are doing Bordeaux. That makes sense.
Did you hear me saying about Misdirect? Misdirect
Yep.
in
No.
Paris?
We heard all of that, and I agree. I can't remember exactly the timing of it all, but there could have been a way he could have got to Clermont-Ferrand and then Wolf formed. He did go to Nuremberg. Oh no, he went to Nuremberg. Oh.
Oh, nice.
He went to Nuremberg after the Wolf form. Oh.
Right.
So this is a Frankfurt
So
or Zurich Wolf form then?
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
He could be one space further east than he actually is. You always hate that as Dracula. You try to play a little bit sneaky, and then it ends up backfiring because you're closer to the hunters than you could have been. He could be is he in Munich now? Possibly.
Oh well, okay. There's a delay for Van Helsing, but again, he hasn't got the fast horses and travel, so he'll just carry on. Revealed the pistol. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, now's a bit of a problem. You've got the two hunters that got fast horses. The spy. Okay. Don't tell me she's holding dogs as well. No, good.
No.
Honestly, it's like they just ransacked a kennel at night and just like filled it up with dogs. It's like, yeah.
I guess what she could do, because you have to check places after Nuremberg, right? So Godalming will probably go to Munich. She could either go to Munich as well if it's discovered, and they can then Psychic Scan wouldn't do anything there. But maybe Godalming could give her an item, then Godalming resupplies, or she waits one turn and supplies, then goes off after Godalming. Or she could check Prague. She doesn't want to be jumping on Dracula if she's down an item, unless there's a lucky find kicking around.
And the problem is now Wolfform is so far. I mean, all right, you will get it back, but you don't like being discovered after your wolf form, and now you don't have it on hand. You're only going one at a time, as you say. You can the hunters can pretty quickly identify where you are, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh right, they just jump in front of you, or they just block off where you are. So,
and because Seward's bringing up the rear, they could just do it that Seward mops up the trail. If he gets a good horse rolls, he can mop up everything in time. So Godalming and Mina can just solely focus on Dracula. Yeah, Harker's been a pain. I mean, Harker hasn't been the biggest pain in the arse this game because of when Mistergreen got discovered and the trail that he set for himself. Harker wasn't really necessary, right? With just deduction alone, we were able to work out, oh, based on those number of spaces, it has to be there. It's probably Paris, right? Where's the worst case scenario from Paris? Nuremberg and Zurich, right? Check them first.
Yeah.
But there have been other games where Harker has been a right nuisance, especially if it's drawn right after Dracula wolf forms early and all that sort of surprise of, oh, I'm going to do an early wolf form and they won't be able to find the location. Doesn't work. I'm in the process of creating a video, another guide video, talking about the 3 different allies and saying that Harker is... I'm not saying Harker's good. I'm not saying he's top tier or anything, but he's underappreciated.
No. Right.
I think he's a very underrated ally, especially with the Immortal update. I think there's a certain argument to him. I mean, Pizzawizard hasn't drawn any other ally anyway, so he hasn't made the choice, but Harker does take a lot of pressure off. If he suddenly, if he has to spend a couple of turns resupplying with people, that's fine, because you'll find that wolf form. But we know it's Frankfurt now. Or, I mean, it could also be Zurich. So I guess they can easily check. It's not going to be a problem. It's not going to mature.
Yeah, I was wondering that. It's a shame he didn't. Had he wolf formed past Nuremberg, then gone Nuremberg, then gone Frankfurt, and tried to come back into France when they're all heading out. But obviously, it's been revealed now as well. So again, the misdirect. He's not using the misdirect to burn off. I mean, the moment. I think maybe because of Harker, he's thinking, well, there's no point in misdirecting one space. They're going to know where I am. Once the wolf form comes back into play, I'd be then looking at a kind of misdirect if it's not been revealed yet, and then. Or then do you just... I think you need to get some distance first, because the 3 hunters chasing him have all got fast horses. But again, it's like, Sod's Law. If you pull devilish power, you don't really want to use its power to burn Harker
No.
when you've got the option of killing off removing a CG. So
And
I think you
also,
just kind of go, right, okay.
I agree with you. And also because of there's 2 copies of Surprising Return, so you get Devilish Power, which is such a rare thing for Dracula to obtain, and then suddenly the hunters just throw 1 Surprising Return, and that counters your
Exactly.
entire
Yeah.
Devilish Power, right? It's so
Yeah.
it's so weighted in. You never use Devilish Power that way. I wish you could. I
No,
wish there'd
no.
be if let's play Mr. Hypothetical here. If the game ever did sort of get reworked, it might be quite nice to maybe change that mechanic a little bit, because basically, is also the same with Dracula's allies, right? Good luck renders Dracula's allies useless. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be a way for allies to be countered, but the problem is because Dracula, the way we play, Dracula events are obtained so infrequently, it just makes Dracula's allies even worse. Unless you suddenly see both good lucks in the discard pile, then you can put out an ally. But that's the only issue. So that could be something that maybe would be nice to be reworked. But it's just, as Dracula, you just know it. Play the non-allied version. Never use Devilish Power to get rid of a hunter ally, unless it's desperate. Like you're about to go into a final combat and Aggie's in play. Sod it, I'll play Devilish Power to get rid of this card.
Well, there's also the fact is if the hunters have used both Surprising Return, and then
Yes.
you've got Rufus in play, and you're going to sea in final week, then you can remove Rufus, jump in the ocean, and you can win the game by doing it that way, because you know that they can't pull him back.
Yes.
But that has to be a manufactured to benefit. You're hoping on a lot of variables coming into play. As you say, yeah, it's not really a kind of, I'll use this now. But then even with the CG, it's been identified as well before. It used to just be, right, great, remove that. But now I've seen a couple of players, which is good to see, they're picking up on it. Don't play CG on the location where Dracula is. Play it ahead of him so that Devilish Power has no bearing, really. All right, it will remove the CG token, but it still does, it still means that wherever he is with the Heavenly Host, he has to leave. It's like your match the other day with Fangs, like it was when you went to Cagliari. Did you? Was that your match? I can't remember.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And it was like, okay, I would have played CG on another location, maybe on 46 or 45, or and then a Heavenly Host on 13 to get him off the island. But CG on 13, it's like, well, okay, but you're never going to go back to that, and you were going to leave anyway.
There is a scenario where I could have actually misdirected, because I hadn't hidden in Cagliari yet. So because I used feed, I could have misdirected Cagliari, gone back onto it, and then hide to win. So there was actually there is a way I could have done that. So I don't disagree with the CG use in Cagliari.
Oh, right, okay.
But yes, I'd agree. Normally you want to try and put it somewhere, but I guess it depends on what other cards. Do you have excellent weather? Is Sud well equipped? What's the health situation? Is there forewarned? Is there fog? There's so many different factors. The fact that I played fog in Cagliari, then maybe the chance of me drawing the other fog is very unlikely. So then... But then Sud would have to kill me in the combat. I don't know. There's lots of factors. I can see why he maybe didn't. He wanted to try and force me to make more sea spaces. I can see why you'd want to do that.
All right. Yeah. No. Fair enough. Yeah. I just thought when you go to sea, if you've got the CG on the coast that Dracula's heading towards, then you've ruled out one location for him to land anyway. Whereas obviously the Heavenly Hosts disappear. So effectively, it does free up any of the coasts for Dracula to land on after he's left the CG plot. But as you said, yeah, if you hadn't hidden yet, and you could miss it, but then again, if you did misdirect, would that have won? Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a different game. So yeah, that's. So yeah, Bahak is there. The rule form. They've not done a lot of movement since then. Dracula's there. They've checked Munich and Nuremberg, kind of cleared it.
Yeah, they had to resupply in Munich. We had a new vampire in Munich which got staked, so Gandami's had to resupply. Mina had to move to get onto a big city to resupply because she didn't want to. She didn't move yesterday for some reason. Mina opted to stay in Nuremberg and just supply an event, and I guess she was waiting for Munich to get cleared, and then she moved in.
Yeah, and she burnt the rifle on the. Yeah, she burnt the rifle when she landed in Nuremberg. So.
No risk of another spy because both of them being used, but maybe because she did get beaten up by the wolves a little bit, the mob, in Paris, so maybe Pizzawizard was to try and keep her fairly healthy, especially if Sud's now going to have to deal with Frankfurt. She's having to charge into the east in a turn or two. Wants her to be, not lacking health. Guarantee her to be on full health, and then off you go.
And the new vampire we saw that was staked there is the first one we've seen as fighting, so he does still have another new plus the 2 reckless. There's 2 aristocratics that have gone there. So he could be trying to get them to burn their stakes and then throw down, obviously Seward hasn't needed to use wax cylinders because they've found the location. But if you can get a couple of heads and start throwing down aggressive, a new one, a couple of reckless, just try and do some damage with them. Now you know that the stakes have been dismissed, because you've only got 5 cards left for the event, the item deck resets. So you want to take advantage of those that have been burnt so far. And they have discarded a couple of stakes as well.
Yeah, there's definitely at least one stake that got discarded. Godalming used one. So it's possible that there are 2 kicking around, but I haven't been paying attention fully to item discard. So maybe, yeah, it could be a case now if Mistergreen is looking, there are 3 cards and 3 stakes in discard potentially at this point. And even then, as you said, I think you misspoke slightly. There are 3 reckless and 1 new vampire still to play. But yeah, the point still holds, right? He's gone for a lot of his encounter deck, so we're hoping at this stage, from a Dracula perspective, you're holding on to maybe at least 3 vampires at this point. There might be an aristocratic in there, but then a couple of fighting as well. Just start throwing down loads of vamps. You haven't used a rumor token either, so now you can start putting potentially quite a bit of pressure. No. You pop 2 together to try and guarantee 1, or you maybe start being a little bit greedy and throw down 1, and then 3 later throw down another rumor. We're about to go into the 3rd week as well, so you'd have 3 rumor tokens. You might be able to throw them, 1 down and then a space, 3 spaces, then 2 more or something like that. And you might be able to get at least one of them to go through, or make the hunters really panic about trying to deal with the last one. We'll have to see. But then all you need is Heroic Leap can also cause issues, Planted Ambushes, Lucky Finds. So there are ways for, to deal with it without the stake.
Well, the good thing is Dracula's not had to worry about feeding or doing anything drastic. He's kept his health with that discreet soil. There's only 40. There's still 49 event cards. Yeah, so the hunters have spent more time chasing the trail than actually, as you'd say, kind of sitting, and having to just stock up to what they need. He is forcing them to move, which is great for Dracula.
Yes.
So yeah, you need to.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Because he stayed on land, he's going to get a lot of... within 2 turns, his deck's going to reset. Because he's basically throwing down 2 every turn. One in the lair and then 1 in the actual location that he's moving into. So his deck's going to reset soon. That means then you have a lot of powerful cards in hand. This is where Behind the Veil will be good for the hunters, right? Because they're very likely to snipe a fog at this stage. But you're right, they haven't supplied a huge amount. But then you're thinking, okay, if maybe 2 hunters go east and drive him out of the east quickly, you could have Seward sitting and supplying in Munich once he's dealt with Frankfurt, Van Helsing sitting and supplying in Marseille. That deck of cards is going to get below 40 pretty quickly. Especially if Godalming and Mina take 1 turn to supply now. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
I assume he's in the east. He could be in the boot. I assume he's gone east here.
There's no other way he could have. Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah, you're right. He could have gone 57, 20, 45 now. They haven't checked that to see, but I'd be tempted to move Godalming to 53. Maybe Mina could move to Seward or do a scan on Italy anyway. But try and get a couple, as you say, get a couple of hunters over to the east to put the pressure on. Even though they have got fast horses, there's never a guarantee they're going to get the right rolls they want. And if you're gonna get jumped on by even a 2v1, you'd rather do it when you're only 1 move away from Castle Dracula as well, and then you've got a feed. So all of a sudden you can get your health back, and hopefully massive. You've done as much damage. Oh well, Venice, right? Okay, that's that. So.
Yeah, okay. That's a massive pull of local rumours. Because you don't even have to. Because I was going to say, well, okay, Godalming was down in items. I understand supplying. That makes a lot of sense. But if they were fully supplied up, just send Godalming to Zagreb and send Mina to 59, and that tells you instantly, more or less, in terms of sense of direction. Seward has to go and deal with Frankfurt. Well, somebody has to go and deal with Frankfurt. But the fact he just drew local rumors meant all that movement is not necessary. The card did the deduction for him. So now it's
Right.
really efficient. He's, as you said, now, oh, are they just going to ignore Frankfurt? It looks like it. Yeah. Okay, that
Sure.
looks like now, unless there's some sort of... Well, yeah, he can't... Unless he's hiding in Milan, he's down in the boot now. So the hunters know
Unless
exactly where he
got a
is.
stake. Unless she's got another stake and she's going to deal with Frankfurt now anyway.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
She is going backwards. Okay.
Well, that's what's good for Drac. You want to see the hunters go back on the track to deal with it's a delay again. They're going the opposite way from where you are, so you don't mind that. And if it's something, I mean, a bats on here would be great. Hides in okay, right? See, there's there's the other thing. You could have gone deduction on Frankfurt and ruled out whether you want to deal with it or not. You know, and then obviously, all right, you lose the card. But I think at this stage, with Harker in charge, you've got pretty much the trail sorted. You know, I'd be more inclined to say, well, actually, let's do that on Frankfurt. And if it comes up that it's rats or something that he's thrown down, great, ignore it and just keep moving on.
I guess the reason why is he's thinking that if you're going to send anybody down into... Okay, when this... I guess... Do you stop a 4-point vampire? Probably. Again, that's really unfortunate. If Mina had rolled slow there, and if Sud had rolled slow in Santander, suddenly you're looking at 8 points for Dracula.
Yeah. And I know his Rumour token's ready, stocked up for the final week, as you say.
Yeah. But I don't mind Mina being the one going backwards here, because I think as Dracula, you'd be more worried that Sud is the one coming towards you. If Mina's the one coming towards you, that's good, because you could have maybe laid a trap with bats in, say, 20, right? You now hide in Rome, push her into a fog and a vampire at night, kill her, keep her in combat if you dark hole or whatever. So I would much rather, as you know, hunters, that Mina's the one getting sent backwards here, rather than Mina going into the boot, right? And also then it means Mina will be freed up in a day or two. She can go back to Munich and supply there, or she could meet up with Van Helsing to then prepare Hypnosis. I assume Dracula's plan is to go to sea, either go Adriatic into the east, or then go to Iridian and try and split the map in half. But if you've got a Hypnosis ready to go, there you go, there's a bats, right? That would have been really good if Mina walked into that. So better that Godalming's doing it. Oh, see, there's another slow horse, right? Poor, I mean...
Slow horse, yeah.
Mistergreen's not getting the run of it in terms of... I mean, Pizzawizard is getting the run of it. He's getting the 2 when he needs the 2. But Mistergreen might be a little bit aggrieved here. Oh, God damn it, why couldn't you have rolled that, yellow 1, literally 2 turns before? And I would have had 4 points on the board.
Yeah.
Funny game.
I think at this stage as Dracula player, you're kind of going, I'm going to throw the aristocratic because, one, I expect it'll get found, and if it doesn't get staked, the next best scenario is it'll delay the hunter. Yep. So I think at this stage, that's why he's throwing down the aristocratic. It's like, all right, like, just here's your fighter ones. This is what you want to do now. You get on the attack, try and do some damage to these guys. Hope he hasn't got a stake.
But the things with this, though, he's thrown down the Rumour token after the new vampire. If this new vampire matures, the Rumour token gets wiped. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, but it depends what he's... Well, it depends. It's either going to get... Yeah, I mean, it's 3 points on the board, or it's going to be... The thing is, though, it would be the same one. If the new vampire Munich hadn't been revealed, it would have burnt this. So I think he's just kind of backing up, trying to get some points on the board so that come the final week, it's making things a bit more difficult for the hunters. It could have been that, or again, it might just be what's in his hand. What does he want to play? And if he can do some damage or kill a hunter, best case, great. That's you take that all day long.
Agreed. Again, imagine if Mina had stumbled into this, right? Bait her into a night fight, or even bat her into this. Then suddenly that's a dead hunter. I think keeping the Rumour tokens makes a lot of sense against Jonathan Harker, because why would you throw down Rumour tokens early if the location is just going to be discovered, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, later in the game, there's more chance of the hunters changing their allies.
Yes, either that they're going to change their allies, or the hunters are going to they're going to decide that trying to deal with the Rumour token is too time consuming. They'll just let it mature anyway, or they might have already burned stakes. on aristocratics
Mhm.
and smaller vampires like this one. So I think that makes a lot of sense. To hold the rumor tokens anyway, I think there's definitely a legitimate strategy in terms of use rumor token early or use rumor token late. But against Harker, I think it makes a lot of sense to hold them until late, and you can make the hunters really, put them into
Oh,
difficult
nice.
decisions. Nice broken knife as well.
Destroyed the knife. Excellent.
We
Because
did go to.
the
Sorry,
new
go.
vampire just mesmerised Godalming, so playing the knife to try and counter an immediate fangs is fine. Although as a vamp, I wouldn't be trying to. I don't want to give him a freebie out of the fight. I want to kill him. So I'd be staying away from trying to get a bite on him and just get down with the claws, the strength.
I'd
I think
also
you
argue.
throw claws off. That'd be good.
I'd also argue from Godalming's perspective here that if I get bitten as Godalming, I don't really care too much. I know I said that and I lost Godalming to getting bitten twice in a tournament game, but the thing is, I feel that knife is worse. Losing the knife is worse because I know Godalming can supply quicker, but that's a resource that now the Hunt's gonna have to resupply, and they might not have time to resupply. It just depends on how he plays out the rest of the game. I look at it, he got the point anyway, right? So he broke the knife and he got a bite and a point out of it. Whereas if Godalming just escaped, it would just been the bite. But he would have kept the knife for later.
Yeah, I always like to see a weapon get destroyed at night. That's good.
But prefer to see Godalming dying though, from a Dracula perspective, right?
Oh yeah, especially where he is. And as well, knowing that you've gone to Italy, you can then choose where you want to stick him in. So you can either stick him in 45 hospital, or if you've got something there you don't want to do, you can stick him in 11. But you've got that control. Yeah, so you've got the death, the time of period as well. You've got that. You've also got the new vamp that has to be dealt with, and you've stuck him in the hospital. That if he moves out, you've got a reckless sitting there. That'd be nice.
Activate nerd voice. Well, actually, he'd only get sent to Rome because he's not equidistant between Budapest and Rome.
Oh yeah, So Rome, that's right. Yeah, so that'd be ideal. Yeah, because what would happen is you'd get put to Rome, and you make sure you got reckless sitting on there, and it does more damage to him. He dies again. So yeah, that's great. Yeah, I was looking at the train. I thought they would have because of Gaddafi's wealth, he'd be getting the train to the hospital. They wouldn't be sticking him in back in no manky horse carriage. It'd be the Flying Scotsman coming through for him. So that's what confused me.
Wow.
So, and I think you apply like you said as well, because of Dracula's health situation, there isn't any, they're not jumping on him as such. Mina's not moved from the last one, so I think as well it's quite good that he can just start throwing down the rumors. He's not being forced by the hunters at the moment to go anywhere. He can just sit, albeit they're close again. He's got to be aware of renewed vigor, but there's another slow roll. Wow.
Imagine now there's a fog in Rome. You could end up having a lot of issues here to try and deal with all this stuff. I actually don't mind that because I guess Mistergreen's thinking, I'm not going to mature that new vamp. It did its job. It did huge amount of damage to Godalming and bit him.
Yeah.
I'm going to now try and double down on these two in the boot. And now he leaves.
Yeah.
And then the hunters are going to try, well, where are the stakes? How are the stakes going to get there? Maybe Van Helsing has a stake, but he has no movement.
Van Helsing get rid of his dogs? Scouts. Okay, well, there you go. I mean, it wasn't a difficult decision, but it's always good to see which one he's on.
I guess probably important now that he can't hide in Bari, because he could have even tried to bait Sud into a really bad fight if Mistergreen gets desperate.
Because Godalming wouldn't even risk excellent weather onto Bari, because again, if he had hidden and he had a couple of damages there, Godalming's not going to risk it. So you did, so now you're forced. You've got to go to sea.
Do we know? Yeah, Godalming must have Heavenly Host, right? Because he discarded a Heavenly Host before he discarded a stake. I think he must have a Heavenly Host. So maybe that's why. So Godalming must have been running around earlier with Horse, Stake, Heavenly Host, and then had to discard bullets because he doesn't have a gun. Oh, there is a fog.
There is one.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think. He's going to get out of this before they mature, unfortunately. Well,
yeah, but the point is, and Seward's got to be Seward's resupplying, but the point is, it delays Seward, right?
Mm-hmm.
If even if those two vampires don't mature, if they just stall Seward, who is always the scariest hunter, down there, then that's a benefit to Dracula. Dracula can now escape. He could instantly wolf form to Sophia from Adriatic if he wanted to, run around there for ages, then suddenly it's 4th week. Hunters have to deal with all that eastern trail with a weakened Godalming. Mina alone, that's just asking for trouble.
Yeah, that'd be a nice position for Dracula to get into. I mean, you could also risk it where you go to the Adriatic, wolf form. Once Munich's been cleared and Mina's moved, you can wolf form into Munich and then go back up Germany. But then the way that the still horse have been rolling, Godalming will probably roll a 1 and end up going to Munich and find you. So you're probably like,
and also because Godalming has to resupply, right? So he'll probably move to Munich today, I'd imagine. Since now Rome's been blocked, he can't go and resupply there for a bit. So I think he might move up to Munich to resupply. We can't check the discard pile to see if Holy Bullets or something which Seward could be holding on to. It's Pizzawizard, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case.
Well, the deck's cleared now, so that'll start coming back into them again.
Very unfortunate for Dracula that the fog triggered just after the reset of his encounter hand, so that fog's not coming back.
Yeah.
We should still have the other one, unless there's a behind the veil, which causes problems. I'll have to see.
His first damage now going to see. Yeah, I think the East is just playing it nice and safe.
I think so. Even
Salonica. You throw Salonica, wolf form to Salonica, and then if they do have CG and try and block it, at least you got the Ionian to escape to as well.
I don't know. I feel here you can take a little bit more risk. I think you can go to Sophia here and then backtrack to Salonica. Oh wait, why are you hiding? Whoa.
Yeah.
Has he forgotten how cards work?
There we go. Looks like classic Mistergreen. There's a comment come up. That's why I'm going. Yes, I forgot. It's a lack of sunlight. They've had he's now on day 43 of no sun in Sweden. It's affecting his mind. Yeah, I'll just hide in a city that's been revealed.
Oh man, is that going to cost him the game? That's just a free turn now for hunters. Oh man, just imagine if he'd actually. I think he would have had enough time. I think you could have gone. Well, let's think about timing. Wednesday night.
No, you're right. Anyway, mate. No, you're right because Sophia. Even Sophia's not a bad location. Even with CG, they can't block every location. So you're right. It would have been a better move to go there.
I think what you could have. Oh, what a surprise! We never knew that. He could have also, wolf form to Sophia, Salonica, Valona, Athens. If I'm not mistaken, he would have been in Athens on Sunday. So then it would go into 4th week. He could hide in Athens. And if he's about to win, because one of these vampires is going to mature, he could misdirect Valona and go back there. If that's too risky, he just go Ionian, Tyrrhenian, Cagliari. Job done. Yeah, I can't click the chat, obviously, because I will click the chat eventually. Why did he hide? That makes no sense to me. Was he...
No, I think you're right. I think he's misunderstood. He's forgotten what happens. He's gone, right, I'm going to hide in Barry. He's either not realised it's been revealed, or he's forgotten that hide won't trigger because Barry has been revealed. So I think the comment will be misclick from Mistergreen.
Probably.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people who are watching this who are maybe not so experienced, the reason why Hyde has not put down an encounter here is because the Bari location was revealed. It doesn't matter that it's Dracula's current location, that's irrelevant. Well, I guess it wouldn't matter. Yes, it has to be Dracula's current location, otherwise it would have already triggered, right? But if Dracula's current location is revealed, you can still hide, you can place down the hide card, but you don't put it face down, you don't get to put down an encounter. You only put an encounter if you're playing it in a non-hidden way. There would be some situations where you want to hide like this. If hiding like this would give you points in the 4th week, right? So that's one reason why you might do it. If you want to stay, imagine if there's a fog in Bari and say Mina's moved in and he wants to try to then kill her in combat, and there's a fog there, he could then hide to stay there another turn and get into 2 combats with her. So there are reasons why you might want to hide, even though the space is revealed for whatever reason. But in this case, no, I think he's screwed up here a little bit. He should have already been Adriatic by now. He should be wolfing to Sofia this turn. He's basically given the hunters a free turn, which could be deadly at this level, but we'll have to see.
And because Stu is trapped in Rome, he wasn't even doing it to try and entice him into Bari. So, that's another reason why it wouldn't have been planned to do that. Interesting point you made there again, yeah, for anyone that is new or isn't aware. If you are in the final week where Dracula is he is getting influence points each day, you can play the hide card down on your location and it will trigger and you'll get 3 for that. So,
yeah. And also moving into a space where a hunter is will also give you 3 points. So if you need to do that as your final move to win, then do it. There goes Aggie, your favourite. But it makes sense, Java Harker's done all the work, so now Aggie, this is the time for Aggie, right? If there's a to return, Harker could come back to search, but I think we know where Dracula's going here. I guess now is actually, I mean, ironically, the hide... Oh, and I guess no, because the hide's on the trail, so it doesn't matter. Never mind, ignore me. I was going to say, oh, it's actually quite good now, because he can hide in Athens in the 4th week, but no, he can't now. Or it's. I mean, I think he could have done anyway. But I think, what's the timing?
Well, I'll tell you what it does do, though. If I was Seward, I'd be using wax cylinders in deduction to rule out Naples or Bari and see exactly what's behind the rumour token. You don't need to find hide. He's not going to do it anytime soon. Don't have the card sitting there top tier, not doing anything with it. Rule out one of the rumours. Because if Naples isn't a vampire, right, ignore it. And then you just have to Bari. So again, he's given you an extra day as hunters, and for them to take advantage would be use deduction, rule out one of the locations, see what it is, and then move on to the next one. Especially if their items are short, they can work around what they want to do.
Yeah. Imagine there's a fog in Naples. So the problem is now he's going to deduce one of the locations, and I can't click it. So we don't know what it is until he goes there. I assume it's too reckless at this stage. Oh yeah, it's 4. We can see it because of the 4 hit points. Yeah, it's
right. So Naples is there. So if you've got a state, you can deal with that, and then Bari, you can jump onto that as and when you need to. But at least, that's a good move. I would have done the same for it. There's no point in having and it frees up his event slot because you can now get another card there. So yeah.
So I think that the important thing is, from Dracula's perspective, him hiding incorrectly in Bari doesn't change what the hunters... Like, it doesn't change the timing of the trail, and, it's not like unearthly swiftness, which accelerates the trail or something. That doesn't change. Like, I'm not saying... Him hiding in Bari incorrectly doesn't make it more or less likely that these things mature, right? It depends on how many stakes the... It could be possible that Van Helsing and Sud both have a stake, and then they're both dealt with. But it's the point that once they are dealt with, Dracula has been able to throw down more encounters in the meantime, right? And that's the important thing. You could end up in a really bad situation here if Dracula wolfhomes to Sofia and does something like I'm suggesting, Salonika. Never mind, he moved to Ionian, which I don't really like, but never mind. If he'd gone Sofia, Salonika, Valona, at that point, Sud could be in Bari, having staked the vampire, now extra weathers on top of you. Whereas, depending on the timing, he might have been able to do it a turn earlier, so then Sud wouldn't have caught him. A lot also depends, do they have renewed vigor, all that sort of stuff, right? But I don't like this additional movement. I think it's because of the fact that he messed up with the hide. Mina's now closer than he wants her to be. There's a huge risk of excellent weather plays and things, so...
As you say, Mina is the weakest. Like you said earlier, when she went back to Frankfurt, she's the last hunter you want to worry about jumping on you. So I think I would have still gone Sofia, knowing that you're only going to be dealing with one hunter, even do some damage and kill her. I get maybe he's gone to the Ionian, which now means that the hunters have got a decision as to do they commit east with the view that you can go to the Black Sea and get further away, or do they stay where they are and kind of force his hand by he's not going to go to the Terranian when there's 3 hunters sitting there, but they're further away from where he could land. But then he's taking advantage of no Rufus. He can go Terranian. Yeah, but he's got to deal with Naples. I mean, Barry, as you said, Barry could be a fog and block somebody there. So I think, I think I would have wolfed to Sophia, get the trail rolling down, and again a one-on-one with Mina. Even if she's got heroic leap, you could feed and try and kill her, and then you're still close enough. And that would, he's got to get some points up. He's only got 1 point on the board, so even after the final week, it's a long week. He's got to get these 3 points tallied up as well.
Yeah, especially also now that Sud has backtracked to Genoa.
Yeah.
It seems like he's not going to... It seems like, I reckon, so Van Helsing's either supplied 2 stakes, or he's got a stake for the Bari one, and then he's going to go to the Naples one and heroic leap it. That's what I assume is going to happen here. So because of that, Dracula assumed when Adriatic Ionian with the view to go Tyrrhenian and maybe even Mediterranean, then wolf form, thinking, oh, Sud's going to be tied up for ages. Didn't even ambush Van Helsing. I guess he was worried about Heavenly Host, I suppose. If he just... He could, he could be... Where could he be? He could have been in Salonika now, right? Without the hide mishap, he could be in Salonika now. Or it was... yeah, right? Sofia. Yes, he could have been in Sofia, goes into Salonika, depending on what was in Sofia, could have battered Mina into him, pushed her further away so she can't deal with stuff. I think, yeah, if you can kill Mina, that's suddenly now, depending on how you kill her, 4 or 5 points on the board, on top of the one you've already got. Going to 4th week, what does Seward do? Does Seward move into Bari, into the Reckless Vampire to try and come across? And then he might even give up more points and more health. We know that... do we know that... Well, I guess Seward could have Forewarned because he searched the fog, right? But maybe he doesn't have Forewarned. Dracula traps him in Valona. He can go to Athens and hide in the 4th week. Then he goes to sea, and then suddenly things look very different.
Yeah, there's a position here now. He's going to struggle now, I think, because either way he goes. I mean, renewed vigor and 2 good horse moves. All of a sudden, he's got 300s on the east anyway. So
yeah, or even west, right? If you're going west at this point, you're going to take more sea damage, which is good for hunters, and then you've got the 2 strongest hunters on that side.
I like the fact that Mina did block Sophia though now, because if he does wolf form from the Ionian, he can't get there. He could go to Valona, but then he's kind of going back on himself anyway if he did that. And then really, he's in the Ionian and he's wolf form, so he can only be in 55, or he's going for the bluff and 1. So he's only going to be in 46, 55, and 3. And he's used the wolf form up, and he's stuck at the coast. So now really he's going to have to move another ocean to.
And then consecrate ground is something. If you imagine he fakes wolf forms into Salonika, the hunters call his bluff, CG him. He's trapped behind Ionian Sea, has to take the penalty damage. Yeah, I really don't like this. I mean, I guess all you can do now is maybe bluff Black Sea, but then there's but now there's Money Trail.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Right. I know the hunter movement was based upon what Dracula did, right? But I think you have to take the risk here and wolf form into the east from Adriatic. I think you're just going to lose this way because you're just going to take extra sea damage. Pizzawizard is just going to sit on Marseille and Genoa and supply. Mina can backtrack now. She could get caught up in time. Yeah, I don't like this. I really don't like this. It's looking really bad. It looked really good for Dracula 2 days ago, or 3 or 4 days ago, with those double rumor tokens, and now it looks awful.
Yeah, when he fucked up the hide, and he's gone 2 oceans. I mean, going to Sophia, you're close to home for any damage or any fights you get. Plus, CG is not a risk on 28, 14, and 22. So you've got those options there. Drag them in, and then you've still got an ocean to go back to. I think his ocean plays. If he has done his this heroic leap, exactly what you said, mate. Yeah, so there's stake 1, heroic leap another. Yeah, I mean, if his hide was a misclick, then that's Mistergreen doing his MO, stealing victory from the jaws of defeat.
I'm really surprised that he didn't ambush Van Helsing with well, not with the Naples vampire. That maybe makes sense to me, but also the especially the Bari vampire. I guess he was worried about the potential of Van Helsing throwing out a Heavenly Host and killing him. But the thing is, the fact that Pizzawizard was so damn confident and backtracked with Seward makes for me as a tell that Van Helsing is he either has double stake or he has heroic Leben stake.
Oh yeah,
so you
absolutely,
need to
all day long.
You try and damage him enough, so then when he uses the heroic leap, he might end up dying in the process. At least you're getting some points out of it.
I agree. Yeah, you still ambush with reckless. You go get points there. He needs the points, and all right, you're forcing him to then play his heavily host. You counter it with the fangs. All of a sudden, he's out. That's damage, and a heavily host is down. Yeah, I mean, he's just giving him a freebie there, really.
Yeah. He's taken 5 damage for free because of the C movement. There's no even... Imagine if Rufus was here, this would been even worse. Hunters now have a turn to position because he knows he's going to wolf form from Mediterranean, right? Mina's going to cover the Italian side of that wolf form. Okay, if Seward stays on that side too, that's fine.
Yeah, this is tough. He's painting...
Because he had it, right? Pizzawizard was not... I'm not saying he was struggling, but I think he would have potentially lost quite a bit of time, especially trying to get Seward across. I mean, if there's an extra weather on Seward, then that's a different story. But I still feel you have to take the risk a little bit, because otherwise, we've seen this type of situation. He says as intended with the hide. Interesting. I don't know if I buy that.
That's covering his washes, I think.
You either take a risk, and he could die very quickly from that risk, but I'd rather have that than this slow, painful, chokehold that the hunters are going to put on you. Especially, Sophia's still good, because if you take a little bit of damage from Mina, escape his bat, get to Galatz, move into the castle, right? Then instantly move out. You would have got your wolf form back, because you would have wolf formed to Sophia, so then you can get to the Black Sea coast or something.
And the thing is, even if Van Helsing had then, on his turn, transferred heroic leap to Mina to land on Sophia and do it, then again, so what? You got, you're down to what he would have been. He would have only taken the 2 damage going to Adriatic, and he was on 15. You will form down, so he's got 3 damage. Then you're 5, but then you feed and you go to Castle Dracula, and you've got 7 back anyway, and you've got a chance to kill Mina. So that's the plan. That's straightforward. And all right, you risk the other guys jumping on you, but then you've still got enough movement to kind of. And as you said, Barry and Naples is then, are they going to let one of them mature? Yeah, exactly. So
if one of those mature, then suddenly you've accelerated the game so much that you just have to survive 2 turns in the last week.
Well, as you said, if one of those, if you distract them away from Barry and when that matured, that's 7 points plus you kill Mina, and you've got one in the bite. You're right. All you got to do is you can go to sea for a couple, just land once and win. So
exactly.
Yeah.
I think there's a missed opportunity there. Something went horribly awry.
Yeah, I think at this stage, if I was watching it live, I probably would have been.
You'd have tapped out. I don't think we said. I can't remember if we said. I think maybe because of the. Because we had to redo the intro because we had some technical issues. You fell asleep during all this, so you did stay for the whole game, but you weren't watching it.
No, yeah, I mean, admittedly, I did it. I intentionally omitted that from the retake because I thought I won't embarrass myself or my age by saying I fell asleep before the game. So now you brought it up, yeah, it does show. So I will apologise, Pizzawizard, if you were commenting or chatting and I was ignoring you. I wasn't. I'd fallen asleep and I woke up long after the game had gone. So yeah, this is all new to me. So yeah, I did fall asleep for that one. But yeah, if I had been watching it at this stage, I'd be like, yeah, do you know what? The way the hunters are, the way they're moving, there's no real urgency. They're strategically getting into place. And then lo and behold, RV gets played, the Telegraph gets played, Wolf Form is landing, so you know where he's going to be. CG, yeah, it's a shit show.
Still no scouts from the hunters, so a little bit unfortunate. But then that happens. But Van Helsing supplied first. That makes sense. Just try to maximize the chance of drawing those scouts. Madrid's been checked. If he's
You'd
in
have to
Granada,
imagine that
CG is a problem.
the problem is you'd have to imagine that the layers that he had in the first week with Lisbon and Santa, that either cleared them moving through the game. So unfortunately, he can't even go back to layers that he left in Iberia.
Correct.
To then make it harder for the hunters and stack them up. So he's just going to be back in there if he has. I mean, albeit Van Helsing's out of position, Mina's doing the check. But I mean, renewed vigor now. You could use Seward and Mina to rule out the 4 locations where the fast horses in the move. And then you've got Gaddafi kind of blocking it. I mean, the health isn't drastic for Drac. He can still go back to sea, but it's not ideal.
There goes Van Helsing with Chartered Carriage. Where can you get to?
Yeah,
you can get to Milan, Milan or Venice now. Can't get to Marseille.
That's true. Right.
Oh, he tried to play sneaky. Look at that. That's the Mistergreen sneaky move, and he got caught.
Well,
that Chartered Carriage. Wow.
Oh yeah. Speed Telegraph. Shit, that's right. I was going to say getting caught by Van Helsing. You've only got Mina to go, but yeah, he's going to have to jump on him.
But Van Helsing's only got 3 health, by the way.
Yeah, he would try to take him out here. Get rid of him, and then ideally try and get an escaper's bat, albeit Aggie's in play, but try and get an escaper's bat, take the damage just to get away.
Because you could get as far as Klausenberg with another wolf form. Escaper's bat and wolf form. You would take quite a bit of damage because of Aggie and the wolf form, but still.
You just reveal yourself in Castle Dracula, get your 5, take your feed, kind of throw down 3 other trails, and you've won.
Plays pistol first. That's a bit of a wacky choice. Is that Holy Bullets?
Holy Bullets? Yeah. I would imagine so. I think he's probably thinking the Reckless is going to try and play claws, kill Van Helsing. I'll counter it with my pistol. Maybe doesn't have great strength.
It's only a day fight, so you wouldn't kill Van Helsing here with claws.
Oh, so it is. Oh yeah, no, you're right. So it is. Yeah.
But it's very risky. Imagine if Vampire played strength there. Plodding into escape. Oh, man. Oh, he didn't play an aggressive card. Oh, goodness.
I mean, yeah, that's adult. If you pulled that where you've got 2 bats, a mist, a plotting, and a mesmerize, you're like, right, okay, what's the point?
Yeah, it's very possible he had. You could have easily played Mesmerize first, and he had double plotting as well. There's maybe nothing he could play. That's very unfortunate, because all he had to do there was just Fang, or play Claws, Claws or Fang, or second Mesmerize, and suddenly Van Helsing's in a lot of trouble. He's on 3 health. He hasn't got a second action, so he can't heal up when Seward moves in.
He can't heal. I mean, he has got the Reckless that hasn't taken any damage and is still going to ambush anyone else that jumps in. So he can still do damage to the other hunters that come on. It's not like Van Helsing got rid of it. So that's one thing.
But the thing is, though, like if you're looking at the clock, if Van Helsing dies, that's 5 points because there are 3 despair tokens. He's up to 9. Here he then has to move. He moves once. He's up to 12. So the hunters have to jump on him tomorrow to kill him. And depending on the situation in terms of movement, do they ever say? Imagine he goes into Venice now, right? And suddenly, Mina can't get there. It's only Seward behind the veil. Oh, pretty vital though. There goes the fog. So no fog for tomorrow. That's a really good time behind the veil for the follow-up play, if there's a follow-up play. But I think.
I mean, the hunters are sitting there. They could be just looking to play CG. Oh no, he's jumping on him. Right, okay, so he's not.
CG and Milan would be okay. You could stop him from going to the ports, I suppose.
It would have if Seward had blocked the location, but he's jumped on it. So yeah, you have to imagine he's just trying to get rid of this, get rid of the Reckless, and Mina can walk in.
Yeah.
Does he burn a Heavenly Host to try and risk killing it? But
I don't think so. Killing this is not vital.
No. I mean, Van Helsing could have escape route, in which case it's not an issue for Drac. He can just get himself out of that fight.
He doesn't get any damage on Seward either. Oh, no. Can you just imagine if Van Helsing went into this fight with only 1 health? I mean, there might be a great strength, right? But you could then just claw Seward, try and kill Van Helsing that way. You don't have to target him directly. The fact that Van Helsing's seems quite. You know, he's got a propensity of playing pistol. He might have holy bullets, so you might be able to strength him to kill him. Yeah,
He's going to take the two. Yeah, he didn't move in Mina, so he's got.
Well, he
I mean,
couldn't because
imagine Van Helsing pulls onto a holy circle.
Mina had moved twice, so she couldn't have gone. She checked
Oh, and
Clermont
she
Ferrand,
checked their
then
location.
backtracked to Geneva. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can you just imagine if he'd killed Van Helsing and then got out with Escaper's Bat, he would win because he gets 3 points for the Escaper's Bat, and then he would be able to move. Yeah, the fact
Well,
he
he
wasn't
plays
able
it
to do
well here.
yeah. He could also die
He
in
can
one
still do
round.
the. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the
Yeah, holy
problem.
bullets and a heavenly host. That's it. Good night.
Yeah, exactly. Good night, Dracula. Tuck you into bed, son.
But now that Van Helsing's revealed that pistol, first off, that does make you think, okay, right, that's he's wanting to try and play that. So now you're as Drac, you're going, do I try and destroy the pistol so holy bullets is redundant and risk taking the damage from Seward, or do I try and take Seward out with a fang on the first heavily host and deal with the 5 damage from Van Helsing? But then he's only down by 1 weapon.
Unless
by
it's
one card.
unless it's all a ruse. Pizzawizard revealed the pistol. They, oh, I've got holy bullets. I'm gonna play holy bullets first round, but now he plays heavily host.
That's the other thing. Yeah, exactly. It's got Drac thinking, what do I need to do to get out of this? But
so does Van Helsing? Do you maybe play claws against Van Helsing, trying to think that the whole pistol thing was a ruse, but maybe not. Maybe still play pistol anyway, or play something like a dodge. We'll see. He's playing fangs into Van Helsing.
Again, depends what he has. Ooh. Right, okay, well...
but claws would have killed him!
Yeah.
Oh, the joys.
He's down to 9, and he gets 1 more punch, so he's actually minus 1 health from that, did nothing.
Yeah, Aggie's huge here for that. Oh,
there's
wow. There's the host.
Fangs on Stewart, it would have been the move.
Yeah, he'd have...
Because I think that's it. I think you're right. Van Helsing was baiting him with the pistols and the heavily, but again, I would have fanged on Stewart just to because he was going to play it with one of them, and then you got him out of the way. You're dealing with Van Helsing on that small health.
It's very risky from Pizzawizard to have staggered the damage like that, right? Because there's always a risk that Seward gets taken out of the fight. Oh, I think you need to be strengthening Seward here. Strengthening Van Helsing here. Unless there's double holy bullets, which is very possible. Yeah, if he'd find Seward, that's a different story. He'd be on 8 health. Is he locked and loaded? I think
there's
he might
be.
That's
a comment.
There he is.
GG, then.
That's a GG.
Yeah. Yeah, he had it. Wow. Okay, so 1-0 to Pizzawizard.
1-0 to the reigning champ, indeed.
I think with that though, you'd have to. I think Mistergreen himself will kick himself that because again, as we said, that could have been a different scenario. Stuck in Sophia having a fight with Mina 1-on-1. That's Dracula's in a strong position. As soon as he fucked himself over by going to the ocean, and then obviously Money Trail, not that it was needed, but where it was, I guess, to kind of rule out Turanian. Yeah, you're struggling. And then Munich, now's not the time to do a sneaky move when you've only got 9 health.
I mean, I guess he didn't expect the charted carriage. I guess once he saw Mina moving away, he must have thought he'd gotten away with it. So only be Seward you have to deal with, at worst. But that charted carriage was pretty clutch from Van Helsing. But yeah, all we had to do was just deal any sort of damage to Van Helsing with the Reckless, and that's a completely different fight then, because Fangs would have killed Van Helsing unless there was a great strength. Fangs Seward instead. So then Seward's out of the combat. You only take 1 damage, so you're down to 8, but now you're against a 3 health Van Helsing. And if you play it well, you might be able to kill him, or as long as you don't die, that's fine. But you'd kind of want to try and kill him, because then you'd accelerate your points so much.
You want to try and either do if you had a strength for Van Helsing, play the strength, hoping that it takes out the pistol that he's already revealed. If he dodges that, then and you got a second strength, play the strength again just to block him for the pistol because he wants to use it because he's shown it to you. And then, all right, you don't escape his bat, but you've killed Van Helsing, and then you can move away.
Yep. The behind the veil was huge though, because imagine he could just go into Venice instantly and fog it, or anywhere,
Aye.
and fog,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then suddenly
Yeah.
they move him with no forewarned fog, and then he just wins. So I think it's one of those games when if you just see the headline result, you go, okay, it was fairly convincing. I would say that was very even, really, all things considered. That
Yeah.
was a really
I
good
think you're
game
right.
between two strong players.
Yeah. Well,
I
it's
think,
funny. I don't know if we did it in this recording or it was one that was omitted from one of our previous outtakes. But I did say that both are quite strategic. Both are good at combat. The only thing is Mistergreen, I'm not knowing how to. So Hyde screwed him over for that one. So almost kind of like they didn't. Neither of them panicked, but then obviously it was a case of it was Mistergreen's own doing that kind of cost him
yeah,
the game. So it was almost like right, there you go. So the next one will be interesting to see when the roles are reversed. What does Mistergreen do? Again, this could go to a tiebreaker, which
yeah,
would
could easily
be
go to another tiebreaker. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I feel, yeah, I don't, I mean, Pizza Wizard played well. I don't want to take anything away from Pizza Wizard. He did win the game, but I feel, yeah, Mr. Green almost sort of lost it more
Oh,
rather than
yeah,
Pizza
I
Green
agree.
won
Yeah,
it.
Pizza
We were,
Wizard played. Pizza Wizard plays his game the way he plays it. There was nothing out of the ordinary. There was no like we've seen games in the past with him and Spencer. There was no battles in Liverpool and all this kind of stuff.
mm,
That was like wow, edge of the Pizza Wizard played what he had to. Mister Green helped him. The Hyde helped
yes,
for the day move. Going to Adriatic and then going to Ionian helped because again it's like right. So he could have made it a lot harder for him had he done like we said had he done the rules form of Sophia. Mina wouldn't have jumped on him, or would she with heroic leap? Fair enough, but then great, I'll just feed and take Mina out.
mm.
Um,
And there's no heroic leap
and
then
then
for the vampires in Italy.
yeah,
So what's
yeah,
Sue gonna
exactly.
do?
That's the whole
Sue
yeah,
gonna backtrack again to try then deal with them.
yeah,
Maybe they wouldn't have had
exactly.
time.
Yeah,
Maybe they didn't have the stake. I think I'm not saying Dracula would have won if he'd just gone directly to the east, but I think we would have been set up for a much sort of tighter finale in the sense of the hunters would be
mm-hmm.
dragged really far east, but Dracula could play it very safe. If he feels even remotely threatened, he could just leave. And then suddenly the hunters
Mm-hmm.
would be caught shifting all the way over, and now they've had to shift all the way back. Things like Money Trail and Hypnosis are great cards, but they're only great cards if Dracula plays in a way where you have to deduce, the
Mm-hmm.
locations. Is he in Tyrrhenian or is he in Black Sea? If Dracula just goes, oh, sorry, I'm just going to go Adriatic to the east, Money Trail is useless because you don't need to deduce what the sea space is because you know it. So yeah, that's the problem, right? It's always typical. The one time you try to play sneaky and move multiple sea moves, and suddenly Money Trail ruins it for you. I don't know if the Money Trail changed Mr. Green's thinking. If if the Money Trail hadn't been played, would he have just landed from Tyrrhenian to try and make it look like it was Black Sea? I don't know.
Mm,
Um,
yes, I think is when Mina had the basis of fear. So I mean, had he played renewed vigor, let's assume he's had renewed vigor for a while, he could have then he could have just played renewed vigor. Mina could have checked both Constanta and Varna straight away, and
yes,
effectively that does the job of a money trail anyway. You
yes.
know that he's not there, and then the 300s are still in that same position. I think, yeah, that was the only side of it. That's the only side that going to see is if you've got 8 or 9 points on the board already, and it's this end of last week, and there's no Rufus. Go to sea, do your Drac Sparrow, and land when you want to.
Yes.
But I think that there was too long in the game. There wasn't enough points on the board, and he just got himself in a ball there. I think he landed because, as you say, Murray was playing. It's like shit. I need to land out and get some points on the board, hoping that maybe they would, excellent weather to Cagliari, and he's not there. What's going to happen? But yeah, all of a sudden, renewed vigors played plus Speedy Telegraph, and as
Was
you
the
said, the
fact?
charter carriage of Van Helsing. So yeah,
Well, I think once he got found in Tyrrhenian, because that hidden aspect of it, there was no doubting about what sea space it was. There's no way he
no,
could have tricked them with a wolf from Tyrrhenian. He had to move one more space to Mediterranean, so taking more damage, more time for Mina to come across and
mm-hmm.
reposition. Um, yeah, I feel you talked about it sort of like urgency, right? You had a situation where you had double rumor tokens in the south of Italy. I'm not saying both of them could have easily still been dealt with if he'd gone east, but you need to pressure the hunter at that point to go right. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna make this move, even if I do have to absorb a heroic leap or something. I'm close to the castle. I think I'll have enough time to go around, maybe get to the Black Sea coast, hide, feed, maybe try and make a move in the 4th week, and then leave. And then suddenly now the hunters are sort of scrambling to deal with certain encounters. If then you suddenly discover, oh, great, that Ruber token is matured. Great, that makes my life so much easier. So yeah, it's just I think they both played a very good game, but in the end, yeah, I feel it was slightly more of a case of Mistergreen beating himself slightly rather than Pizzawizard winning. But I mean, fair play to Pizzawizard. It's like the sign of a good player that you can just keep winning, even if things don't go quite your way, you still manage to win the game.
Well, and the thing is, what you wouldn't say is it wasn't like Pizzawizard made a couple of mistakes as hunters, and then it's like he got away with it because of Mistergreen's. So you see it as almost, okay, yeah, Pizzawizard deserved to win anyway because he did nothing. He hadn't done anything wrong not to deserve to win.
Not really.
Mistergreen helped him by making the mistake on that side. So that's
Agreed.
that's the issue with that. Is, and again, it would have been great had it been a 2-on-1 and we saw Dracula fight in battles, but there was still the element of excitement there. The Jonathan Harker did its job, and kind of the trail was almost, Dracula did well to get the trail that he did. And obviously the fog with Seward was ideal. So yeah, that was the hide was the main turning point. Okay, he covered it with a jest that, yeah, okay, hiding in plain sight. Well, no, because nobody's going to jump on you. You just need to keep that booklet off. What do the cards do again? Let me just read it. Because I know you have. We've played games where he's gone, why has he done that? And then you go, I forgot that's how the card works. You're like, great, thank you for that, Mr. Green. So there's always that element of if you get him at the right time, he will win the game for you.
Absolutely. I think
this means now he will come back to the retake or the rematch. He will come back in the second leg, and he will be focused as hunters. Because I would say hunters, as we said earlier, okay, they're good at both factions. I would say that hunters is probably Mr. Green's strongest faction, slightly as well.
Slightly, yeah. Based on the win rate in this league, it looks like that way.
Right, okay.
It'll definitely be interesting to see that play out. Especially since Mystery will know he'll get eliminated if he loses that game. I think
of course you get.
Oh, go.
No, I was going to say, of course, those listening to this, you can follow us with that final second leg on Sunday at 5 p.m. UTC. It will be myself and Scott Sword, and I believe a third joining to commentate on it. So
special guest,
yeah,
indeed. Yeah.
So don't miss out on that.
So in terms of the times, it would be 5 p.m. UTC. That's 5 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. Western Europe, noon Eastern time, and then 9 a.m. Pacific. I think that's the right timing of everything. So yeah, we'll be live, the two of us plus a special guest, and that'll be really exciting to see them play off for that. I feel I'm going to go back and watch Pizzawizard's perspective later today. It'll be interesting to see how he dealt. I feel just because the way the game progressed, there was no situation that he was in. Obviously, from our perspective, maybe when we see Pizzawizard's cards, he might have had to make really tough decisions. But it felt like he wasn't pushed into like final gear. Maybe only at the very end of that combat, with the risk of Van Helsing dying, that bait with the holy bullets, but then even then fanging a holy bullet, maybe he was fanging a heavenly host. That could have gone really badly for Pizzawizard, but it worked out for him very well.
And as you say, he pulled it behind the veil, got rid of the fog. So even if it had come down to it, Dracula can't wolf form. You've got Van Hel, you've got Seward and Mina in position, Gadami. So again, they could have found him the next day anyway. Yes. He'd already played He'd already played as reckless. So really, yeah, it's like it was just delaying the inevitable. Sadly, it was a stay of execution.
But the thing, we said it, didn't realize at the time. I saw it, but we didn't talk about it in the analysis. If Dracula had managed to escape his bat, it'd been even better for Dracula. Even if he hadn't killed a hunter, even though it'd been very difficult for him to escape his bat with so many weapons and stuff, because Seward had thrown away his horse. So, or if there'd been a second renewed vigor, it's not as if Seward could have checked Genoa and Venice, or Munich and Venice, right? Because he'd thrown away the horse. So even without the fog, it might have still been okay for Dracula if he just escaped his missile, end of combat, moves into Venice or something. So oh well, we can hypothesize all we want. The game ended the way it did. And yeah, we'll see the rematch tomorrow. It'll be very exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to commentating on it with you. So yeah, do join us live if you can. You can watch it back after the fact if you can't make it live, but do try and join us live if you can, because we'll be in the chat answering questions. You can all participate and try and guess where Dracula is and all that good stuff.
No, that'd be good. No, well, thank you, Scott. So that we got there despite a couple of technical difficulties. I'm glad I stayed awake for it this time. And although I would have tapped out, apologies, Pizzawizard. If you did comment anything, apologies. I don't think you would have. You've been too engrossed in the game, and I look forward to doing all the game with you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thank you, Roscoe, for joining, and enjoy the footy that's on now.
Yes, I will. All right, buddy. Take care. Thanks, guys.
See you soon. And yeah, thanks to Roscoe for joining. And yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Apologies I haven't done any more post-game analysis during this tournament. It's just, yeah, as I said before, not enough time on my part. I've been doing more sort of live streaming, just because that sort of side of things has been better for me. I've sort of seen the benefit of live stream when you got an audience and there's a lot of participation. It's really good fun. And then just because so many games are covered by various perspectives anyway, then there's not really the need to do post-game analysis in the same way. So yeah, it was nice to have done this one and to have watched it. Pizzawizard's perspective is up on YouTube. I will leave it in a comment down below. If you want to go and check out his perspective, do go and watch it. I'm sure it's very insightful. And yeah, hopefully see you tomorrow at the time stated for the rematch between these two. Can Pizzawizard, the reigning champion #1 seed, win to progress to the final, or can Mistergreen pull it back and send it to a tiebreak? And also the score that, you know, Pizzawizard won today with, let's think, those 4 influence on the board plus the modifier. So one with 9 IDS, but Mistergreen could still win with a bigger margin of victory than that Mistergreen would get the preference in the tiebreaker. I'll see you tomorrow, folks, and we'll find out what happens. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and see you very soon. Bye-bye.